Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the WCW Saturday Night Review Series for the uh, 27th of July here in 1991. We continue our foray into that time period. Of course, this is the right after, about 2 weeks after the um, Lex Luger Championship switch, which lots of people thought should have been sooner. Lots of people thought could have been sooner, etc., and so forth. But anyway, we continue our foray into WCW in 1991, which ultimately isn't a horrible thing. Jimmy Garvin and PN News going to kick us off here. Jimmy Garvin, of course, one of the members of the Fabulous Freebirds. PN News doing a rap gimmick long before John Cena ever did it, and needless to say, doesn't do it nearly as well as Cena does it, but it's 1991 and Vanilla Ice was huge, so they're trying to capitalize some Irish whips and a big old drop kick from PN News, kind of getting him under the skin of the his adversary here. Again, PN News um, actually defeating what's known as Brian Kane. For some reason, I had written um, Jimmy Garvin, but probably because the fluffy hair reminded me of Garvin. Anyway, basic maneuvers here along the way, and defeating him with a splash off the top rope, 340. After a couple of body slams, not head scissors, but body scissors and a big splash. Again, PN News, at the time, they're trying to get as much as they can out of things here, and I guess they did, although, to be fair, not exactly match of the year candidate by any stretch of the imagination. Doesn't really need to be from that perspective, but 4 minutes is probably about 2 minutes too long for this particular match. Then we go to another in the series of matches here, or actually interviews here. There is the Terrence Taylor and Richard Morton and Alexander York. York says there is going to be a new member to the York Foundation, although Paul Heyman, who is hilarious in the segment, worth going out of your way to see, as he's trying to get information about who the newest member of the York Foundation is. She will not, for the life of her, give him that information, but he's asking, is it Sting? Is it Dustin Rhodes? Who? And she just completely turns him down with, I can't tell you that, Paulie, I can't tell you that, Paulie, but it's just funny overall. Anyway, the enforcers here, Arn Anderson and Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko against Ian West and Sonny Trout. The enforcers are a tag team that they're trying to get more out of, and they do end up doing so, but it's just interesting because, that continuation of trying to get more out of it is there. Hanging suplex for Zbyszko. Zbyszko been around quite a while by this point, coming in off of his desire to kind of find something to do post the AWA, as he had been there for the previous several years. Then we see Arn Anderson coming in, buries the shoulder, works over the arm as an Anderson often would, also sits out with a reverse chinlock, basic maneuvers here, and Anderson gets the short spine buster, also getting the victory for his team. Quick pin, quick win. Anderson and Zbyszko talking about being future tag team champions and getting as much damage as they can going forward. Then we got a Johnny B. Bad match, enhancement match, actually a highlight package, as they're talking about 3 weeks ago. His involvement, and there's a confrontation, which ultimately leads me to grabbing my phone. We'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail right after this. Again, trying to do a very basic run, and Johnny B. Bad, still doing the Little Richard meets Boxer gimmick. So, I mean, he's still here, but it's certainly I wouldn't say a bad thing, I wouldn't say a good thing. It's just here and pretty basic. Puts his man down. Teddy Long still on the outside trying to get Johnny B. Bad under some semblance of control. They hype the upcoming changes to WCW, including the need for tag team title tournament in the Gordon Soley sponsored event center type situation. The Diamond Stud against the Yellow Dog. Yellow Dog, suspected of being Brian Pillman at the time. They are doing the masked gimmick with Pillman at the time. Super basic here. Good match, though, as Dallas Page on the outside with the Diamond Stud, proving that their friendship goes back all that way. Again, the Yellow Dog concept's pretty basic here. Hard back and forth. Chops, punches, kicks, basic maneuvers. Stud actually proving that he has what it takes to be a bigger star here. Just his timing is impeccable. His approach to trying to get something off the ground that's a little bit better than average is also pretty good, and just a basic thing there. Toss over the top rope, or attempted by the Diamond Stud. Top rope drop kick from Pillman, and hitting the man around. Also, not only that, but DDP up and getting nailed there as well. Some hard shots, and eventually we see the continuation of the heels. We see also the attempted removal of the mask, but that does not lead to a resolution here. Lex Luger basically hyping, still being the best person in WCW, being the new champion a couple weeks after that championship win. Then we go to the one-man gang and Dustin Rhodes actually not a one-man gang, but they were hyping that at least one point during the commentary. Enhancement match for Rhodes. Rhodes, still a couple of years into the sport. I think he broke in '88, so 91, 2 years later, he done the WWF Royal Rumbles about 6 months before with his father, obviously Dusty, but Dustin managing to get some hip tosses, drop kicks under the chin, Dustin House of Fire, and doing what he can where he can as far as getting himself better known, although, to be honest, not exactly going perfectly for Rhodes. Rhodes cuts the ring off, gets pretty basic in that maneuver, and ultimately hits a series of drop kicks and other basic things. Gonna grab my phone. We'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb steak. Again, Rhodes officially hits the Bulldog there and kind of gets things going in accordance with his final run here. It's very basic. Obviously, Dustin Rhodes, someone they're planning to push or planning to get to in a quick run, quick order. And there we go as far as that is concerned. Is it perfect? No, not by any stretch of the imagination, but at the same time, not a bad run either. Needless to say, we kind of move forward into the top 10 segment they're doing to try and make things look more legitimate. Big Josh up next with a enhancement match here. Big Josh facing off against an enhancement guy who honestly doesn't care one way or the other whether he's there from the look on his face. Tony Mello gets hit with a sit-out splash. 319, very basic match. Punch kick, lots of chops from Big Josh. Josh doing the jeans, lumberjack type gimmick, punch kick, and hits that sit-down splash. Hardliners taking credit for the removal of Scott Steiner from action here. Very basic along the way, and hitting things according to some semblance of plan. Then we go to the Freebirds facing, or at least Michael Hayes. Actually, the Freebirds facing off against a couple of enhancement talents here. Obviously, Freebirds. Actually, no, facing off against the Hardliners. For some reason, I had them against enhancement. I think the week before is enhancement talents, with the Hardliners, of course, Dick Slater and Dick Murdoch. Not exactly a tremendous match, but very basic, as it were. Jimmy Garvin and Michael Hayes, your baby faces here. Hardliners basically doing hired thug type gimmick, and maybe not getting everything they want out of it. Simple match, very basic, very, I guess, elongated, longer than it needs to run. Bit more of a brawl. Michael P.S. Hayes does eventually hit a DDT with a good sell from Murdoch. Murdoch, obviously a really strong talent. And then, the Hardliners continuing to work together. All four guys get into the ring, kind of brawling around a bit. They eventually go two guys on the floor, two guys to the outside. Big Daddy Dink, a.k.a. Sir Oliver Humperdinck, managing the team here and trying to manage to get things under some semblance of control. Then we go to a continuation of tag matches. This time, as we have Tommy Rich and the Junkyard Dog, two NWA standouts in a squash match. Junkyard Dog looks like he has eaten a house, and it doesn't have a great deal of athleticism here. In 1991, by any stretch of the imagination, hits a headbutt, and they try to keep him going in a positive direction. Does not get where he wants to get, though. But the Dog eventually does get the power slam and get a victory here in the this version of WCW at the time. Needless to say, though, not in his best interest as far as the physical conditioning he's finding himself in this particular run. We will close on that note. We'll be back with more right after this.